welcome. So today I'm doing my all about books video where I do a review on the book that I've read, and I'm trying to read a book each month. That was my goal for this year, and so far I've not done too badly. I've run over this month due to school holidays, but I knew that would happen. But I still managed to fit in some reading, and I love books which are historical, present time. I read a whole range of books. And so I always try and get in as much reading as I can because I enjoy it so much. And this book, the book I'm reviewing in this video, is one called by Carrie, and it's The Things We Cannot Say. And it's basically based on around when Poland were invaded by the Nazis. And it's two ladies that it's written or narrated from. It's in first person, called Alice and Anita. And Anita was a young girl who, when she was growing up, love was taken over because of the Nazis basically using Jews as slaves, and as they were just very badly treated, and they were, being absolutely, I would say, crucified by the Nazi army. And Anita grew up on a farm, there was many farms in Poland, and their farms were taken over by the Nazis, and so all their produce they hardly made any money anymore because the Nazis the German army wanted to take over the farms and get them to make food for them. And so and it's such a horrific story, but it also sometimes keeps me in touch with my own relatives that were born in that era when that was happening. And Anita and Alice is you'll find out connected to Anita, and you find it out after, because then she goes back to Poland to find two people that her nan is looking for, because she is originally from Poland. And they end up going over to America, and it tells a story of how Anita's story is connected with Alice's story, and in this book, and it's very, very good reading. It's so the end of it, I was almost in tears because there is a really sad ending, but it's really good book, and I would highly recommend it. It was a very good read, and it just captures what was going on back in Poland when they were being taken over, and they were literally the Jewish community didn't stand a chance, and it tells that story, and it's horrific how they were treated. They were treated as slaves, and as if the Nazis in some way owned their community and was trying to help them, and all they were trying to do is take their lives away and use them as not as human beings, but as getting them to do whatever they wanted. And it was so horrific, when that was happening, and no one can imagine what happened there, but this story tells that about that time, and it's just the detail is so cleverly written in this book. There's not too much description, it tells a story, but you find out so much about what was going on in that time, and how the Polish people that were living in Poland, especially Jewish, were trying to escape from the Nazis' harm and evacuated to different countries. And it captures that story, and how there's one part of it which talks about one of Anita's friends and family, and that also talks about how her family were connected, and and when Alice goes back, she finds out that it's part of the family are still there, and that's what I'm going to say, so don't spoil it. But it's just a really good story, and it just captures that time of life in Poland, and really is this could have been a true story, but it's fictional, and this would be great as a film or TV series, made into a TV series, because it really does describe, and it's just as good as when I read Called a Midwife, so I read the book of that as well. I know there's other books as well that I would like to continue that have come out now, of that story. So I just love going back to those times, but not because I get some sort of kick out of people being miserable or anything like that and having hard times, but it just tells a story of how, lucky we are now. But and it's kind of similar to what's going on in Ukraine at the moment. Nobody wants a war and have their lives taken over. People just want to live, and this captures that time in Poland where the Jewish community were being absolutely tortured and having to work in camps where they're promised to be looked after and they're not, and it just was a brilliant book. So definitely want to read, and I would definitely give it a 9 out of 10. Only because there were some parts where I lost myself, but it was easy to get myself back into it again. But a brilliant story told, and definitely one. And I'll definitely read. But if you've got another book, I would read more of her books because this book was so good. So, and this month I'm still reading a couple of self-help books. One is what I read I've shown before. That I read at night time, and it's based on meditation and all that, and I will share that once I actually finish it again. But I'm also listening to, I've started to go through my books on Audible, and I've decided that I want to listen to a book I want to go through those books as well. Because you get a free credit with Audible each month, which I love. But I've got loads of credits, but I've also got loads of books in there that need to be listened to. And so I've decided that I'm going to be listening to choose Mel Robbins' book, which is The High Five Habit, and I started listening to that yesterday. So that's a book that I am choosing to read. So I would like the actual book as well as listening to it. But that's a book that I'm currently on at the moment, and I'll start. But then after that, I may read this at the same time. I've decided. But the next book I'm going to read is this book called My Mother's Choice by Ali Mercer. And it says that it's an utterly a heartbreaking, emotional page turner. And let me just read it. So nobody talks about my mother. Absolutely nobody. I have no idea what she was like. I'd always thought that they kept quiet about her because they were sad. But what if it was because they were guilty? I watched them at the school gates, all the mothers with their daughters. I see their hugs and all those thoughtful little adjustments to scarves and ponytails. How their love seems to overflow, they have so much of it to give. And then I walk home to my aunt's cold house, where there are 100 rules for me to follow, and only a single photograph of my mother to look at. She is never spoken about in this house. They tell me that it will be easy if I don't think about her. It is strange though, isn't it, that I know nothing about my own mother. But they don't know about the diary I found up in the loft. Maybe they even forgot it was there. It doesn't matter anymore if they won't tell me anything, because within these pages is what I've waited 14 years to find out, and maybe some things I wish I could forget. All I wanted was to bring our family closer together, but could what I find? Read that again. All I wanted was to bring our family closer together, but could what I find tear us apart instead? Well, that sounds like a really good book, and I have begun reading it. I just wanted to read the first sort of page, just to see if I was, wanted to read something. I am, so I'm about that far in the book, and I think I will read this as well as listen to my book on Audible, because it sounds like a really good story again. But the thing about books for me, it takes me away from everyday issues, same as watching a film. That's why I love reading, and it's so good for writing myself. So that's why I love books. And I will be doing more books as we go along. I've got a whole bag full of books that I still want to read. So there's been lots of read reviews coming up, And if you have any book recommendations, please feel free and let me know. A comment below, and please subscribe. Also like this video if you want to see. If that I know that you like these type of videos. I see that my other one I did was fairly popular, and I want to do more videos like this. But only if it feels only if you enjoy these videos, and and if there's any books that you want that I may have read that you like an opinion on. The thing about it is, because I read so much, sometimes I forget about the books I've already read. But there's some books that stand in my mind, but I just, it's different stories, and writing myself, it just gives me inspiration, and it helps me to be creative as well. So, anyway, so thanks for watching the video. I hope you enjoyed that, and I will see you in the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.